Doc, sichapia story.
Wase, jana nilikuwa napiga ndirao mtaani. Nilikuwa na 20 bob kwa tenje. Nikauliza, tashindaje vimeja na 20 bob kwa tenje? Kiasi. Huyu meka kapop kutoka chini ya ndai akadai, si bet na Betika ni grand jackpot. Na 20 bob unaweza shinda hadi 50 mili. Nikamshow. Lakini pia sina bundles. Alafu madhawa mayai litokea tu akidai, lakini na Betika unaweza bet bila bundles.
Tulia. So unaweza betika na mbao ushinde 50 mili bila bundles.
Kabisa. Ukibetika unapata more. Pata more na Betika.
Hii story imeletwa kwako na Betika, the official sponsors of happiness. Gambling can be addictive. Play responsibly. Not for persons under 18 years of age. This advert is authorized and regulated by the Betting Control and Licensing Board. License number BK281. Betika, jukwaa la mabingwa.
Hi everyone, this is Radull Live. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk about tennis. Yes, a sport I made an attempt at. And I think I'm better than bad, but I'm more average than the people who are here today. Allow me to introduce Angella Okutoyi. Hi Angela, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
You're only 17 years old. I can't remember when I was 17. We'll get into your conversation about how you got into tennis in just a bit. And of course, one of her coaches, Francis Rogoyi. Hi, Francis.
Hi, Carol.
How are you doing?
Very okay.
Very okay.
Privileged to be here.
I think you shout more than that when you're on the tennis court. True or false?
For sure.
Let me start with Angela here, just to break the ice. Angela, tell me how you got into playing tennis. How old were you when you started playing tennis, and how did you decide this is going to be my life?
I started playing tennis at the age of 4, and I was introduced to it by Joe Karanja, because I used to train where I live. There are tennis courts, so I believe he asked my mom if I could join the sport.
At 4, I hope he asked your mom.
Yeah. And then I was brought to it, and then that's when I started liking it.
At the age of 4, could you even hold a racket?
I believe so. I'm not sure.
Or you had those tiny things they give to children?
Yeah, well, we had the small rackets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then when you got into school, where did you go to school, and were you playing tennis in school as well?
Yeah, I used to study at Mbagadi Road Primary School, and before that there were no courts, but Veronica Osogo came and started teaching kids how to play tennis, and I was also in it.
At the school, or
yeah.
At the school?
Yes.
And then for secondary school?
No.
You didn't play tennis in secondary school?
Now I'm in secondary school and I'm playing.
Yeah. And now oh gosh, you're still in school. I left school a long time ago. And you're a wonder kid, but we'll get to that just now. Let me bring Francis into the conversation. Francis, tennis, of all sports, how did you decide tennis is a sport I'm going to? And did you play professionally, or you just learned how to coach?
Actually, it was not my decision. It was my dad was a star in squash, the sport, and through squash, he loved watching tennis. I don't know how, but he played squash, but loved watching squash. So he introduced
watching tennis.
The whole family of 5. We have 5 siblings, and this is how I came to know about the sport. Then I fired up at 14. I was able to play a few tournaments here and there. At 12, I was able to join the senior leagues. Played for KCB, the bank, and eventually also through the CAT ITF events, and then eventually the Davis Cup, and then majored in 205.
So you played in the Davis Cup?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I featured 4 ties.
That's a successful career for anyone who understands tennis. And then you decided, I want to stay in the game as a coach.
Yeah, it reaches to a certain point where you see the reality because unfortunately the sport takes a lot, and at this point in time I thought to myself that probably it's too much to be able to pursue the professional level, and I started coaching.
And how far back was that?
This was in 2005 after my last assignment, and was able to start simple coaching skills here and there. And then in 2010, the International Tennis Federation to open a center, an ITF center. The ITF center is a regional center that covers all the countries in the region. And at the moment, I think the region takes close to 9 to 13 countries. And this was to start in Bujumbura. So through this project, I was privileged enough to get an opportunity to go to Valencia for a certification. This took about 2 months, and then eventually when I was back the coming year, I was given the job as the head coach at the ITF Center in Bujumbura, which is where actually Angela joined around 2014.
Yeah.
How old were you then?
10.
Wow. So at the age of 10, you were already playing professional, is it semi-professional tennis?
Yeah, I could play some balls.
Which are some of the tournaments you've participated in, and how have you performed?
At the age of 10, 11, I played zonals, yes, and I won. And at the age of 13, 14, I played an ITF tournament under 18 juniors at the age of 14, and I won my first junior tournament, grade 5, both singles and doubles. And I also participated in an under 12 tournament in Morocco, and I also won it at the age of 12. And at the age of 14, I also played an under 14 tournament, AJC, and I won under 14.
Okay.
And under 16, unfortunately, I wasn't able to play the AJC due to Corona and all that, but I participated in the zonals and I won also. And also at the age of 15, I played a grade 5 here in Kenya. Well, it was tough, but I became runners-up and double semi-finalist. And at the age of 16, 17 now, I also played some couple of ITFs. I made runners-up, winners, and semi-finalists. And also in doubles, I took some golds.
Some golds. So you're bad news. In other words, you're bad news, and I mean that in a good way.
Yes.
Boast. I mean, it's your effort, you know. How would you grade her as a coach?
She's actually trying to be very humble, if I can say, because the titles she's mentioning are actually greater than how she describes them. Because I'll tell you, in 2018, it's called the Africa Junior Championships. This is where all the best African players meet, and this took place in Algeria. She cleaned it, and it's the first title actually in the region that has been kept in the region. It used to go to the north, but this time Angela cleaned it. The same year she went to the US, and there's a tournament called Orange Ball and Eddie Head. She was in the finals at 14, and this is not easy. Kenya Open, which is a senior event, she cleaned all these.
Because you also won Kenya Open.
Yes.
At the age of 14. Yeah. And that's ageless, as in it's not an age group event.
It is from 13 and above.
So she's even playing 20-year-olds?
Yes, she's playing up.
And you won it at the age of 14? Yes. Wait.
So for me, I think basically I would describe her as I think as a go-getter, because at the age of 10, like she mentioned, she stood out, and everywhere she goes, actually, she stands out, and this is why she keeps climbing the ladders.
What has been the secret to her success? Is it because of the age she started?
Not really. I think in all sports, there is no secret but hard work behind the scenes that not most of us will see.
Yeah, but I mean, by secret, I mean, and it's not a secret, it's just that in all our Kenyan sports, we tend to bump into to our talent in high school or when you're already a teenager. But in lots of, like football, for example, someone should start being trained at the age of 8. But the reason Kenya has a cap on how successful we can be is because we start training as a teenager. But if at the age of 4, she was already identifying, a talent had been identified and groomed.
It's now clear, and Angela, at the age of 10, in this specific center, for me, this is what I would say that was special for the specific case of Angela.
The center in Bujumbura.
The Bujumbura. This is the ITF center, which is supported by national federations from all over the region, and the best players actually join here, and only if you're 12, you're to join the center and you stand out. But for the specific case of Angela, she wasn't 12. And we had to do a very serious meeting with my boss, who is the development officer of the region. And we say together, look, if we leave her out and we wait for 2 more years, we will lose her. And for me, I think this was special because we were able to buy time, and also the structures that were at the ITF center, I believe, stood out. And this is, for me, the secret behind the scenes. And she can bear me witness that it's one of the best projects so far that every other kid, because it's not commercial, it's development based. And for me, this is, I think, the secret behind the achievement.
You would agree with that? What was your experience like in Bujumbura?
The beginning, it was not easy because I was young and I was crying too much.
You were 10, it's allowed.
Yeah, but when I continued, it became quite good and it became like a second family to me.
Absolutely, because at the age of 10, I'm assuming do you move with your parents or with a guardian, or you're literally put there like a boarding school?
Kind of like a boarding school.
So your parents are here in Kenya and you're there?
Yeah.
And you have to manage?
Yes.
But you must have had a lot of support for your parents, because with all athletes who start young, the parents have had such a big impact in your success. So your father, your mom were like, focus on tennis?
My grandmother, yes.
Your grandmother? She said, you're going to focus on tennis and you're going to be a superstar.
Yes.
How critical is that? Because it's so hard to find a family willing to say, yes, send off their daughter to a foreign country, even if it's an hour away, still.
I think it was very difficult for the family because she has a twin.
Yes, who she plays doubles with.
She has a twin sister, and it was a very difficult decision because I remember we were being fired at where we were being told we should have picked the 2 girls instead of 1. And the first year, like she says, it was really difficult because even a simple hello, she was in tears. But she came through eventually.
She was 10. How hard was it leaving your sister? She's called Rosalida. Rosalida.
Yeah.
How difficult was it leaving your twin sister? Because she also plays tennis. Yeah?
Yeah, it was tough because we were used to being together when we were young, and then me going to Burundi was tough, and flying for the first time also.
Yeah,
it was tough.
But since then, you've managed to get quite a bit of experience. We're talking about experience at the age of 17, but you've got quite a bit of experience in international tournaments, and training. Which has been the most exciting tournament you've gone for?
I would say
one or two. Maybe it's not only one.
Okay. One will be 2018 African Nation Cup, because I traveled with like a team, Kenyan team, which was great. And another one will be
what was it like training in Morocco? Because I know you've been in Morocco for most of this year.
It was great. It was good. I met good coaches, good teammates, good players, and they were all willing to train. Like you could see, like we have the same goal, kinda. Everyone wants to achieve, be great, and being able to practice with people like that, it's competitive, and you really also want to do more. Yeah.
Coaches, how big is the gap between what you see here on the African continent and getting to international level, what we see like on the ATP tour, for example? Is there such a big gap? Or can we one day hope to see Angella at the US Open, at Wimbledon?
To be honest, I don't think there is such a big gap if there is great investment in the players. And for me, at the age of 14, our region actually stands out. At the age of 12 and 13, we stand out because, like we all know, in terms of financing, it's not as much. But then as we go to 16, 17, then these other guys come take over. Why? Because they're investing more. And I think for me, with great financial support, the sky is the limit, because I'll tell you for a fact, if today she goes for whichever tournament it is, it's not a cleanup. She will participate, and whatever tournament it is, be it the US Open today, the opponent will actually get a match.
So what type of investment would you like to see?
It's clearly our sport today. For example, if you allow me to just
speak
round it up, it's not a cheap sport also, because now we are talking of elite. It's no longer participating. Now it's okay. She's, for example, going in 2 weeks to Pretoria, to South Africa for 3 very big weeks. So it's not like, oh, Angela, go out there, give your best. No. So now she's at a level where, oh, my friend, this is the round that you can only achieve this. So it's no longer go and participate. So it's result now oriented. And for results to come, equipment is involved. Very simple touring expenses like accommodation, restringing, the general tournament expenses. If Angela, for example, goes for one event, which would be between 3 to 5 weeks, she will not spend any less than $5,000. This is in terms of the travel, meals, restringing, and whatever the cost of the tournament is.
And who's paying that?
Okay, currently she's lucky to be in a team they call Grand Slam Development Team from the International Tennis Federation, and they are funding this team, but this is one tour. And then luckily again, when she was in Morocco, the International Tennis Federation again funds that in conjunction of the Tennis Kenya chipping in a percentage in that. But generally, I think ITF has played a really big part in her development since she was 10 to today. So now this is the transition that actually she needs, like you're asking, to break through. And then this is where now she's finished her term. And by finishing her term, I mean the ITF center has suspended the center in Morocco also. So she won't be going back soon, and they're waiting to see which other country will be opening up. So that means this is the period that she really needs to transition, and without a financial backing, this is then it will just be stories that there was once a player.
That's the sad part. That's the sad part, and I want to get your opinion on that. But I want us to take a very short break, and then I will ask that question: that how can we get Angela to a big tournament? What do we need to do? Fans, media, government, federation. So we'll see you in just a bit.
Doc, suchapia story.
Wase, jana nilikuwa napiga ndirao mtaani. Nilikuwa na 20 bob kwa tenje. Nikauliza, tashindaje vimeja na 20 bob kwa tenje? Kiasi kiasi. Huyu meka kapopa kutoka chini ya ndai akadai, si bet na betika ni grand jackpot. Na 20 bob unaweza shinda hadi 50 mili. Nikamshow. Lakini pia sina bundles. Alafu madhawa maya alitokea tu akidai, lakini na betika unaweza bet bila bundles.
Tulia. So unaweza betika na mbao ushinde 50 mili bila bundles.
Kabisa. Ukibetika unapata more. Pata more na betika.
Hii story imeletwa kwako na Betika, the official sponsors of happiness. Gambling can be addictive. Play responsibly. Not for persons under 18 years of age. This advert is authorized and regulated by the Betting Control and Licensing Board. License number BK281. Betika, jukwaa la mabingwa.
Welcome back. This is Radull Live. Of course, I'm with Francis Rogoy, tennis coach, and Angella Okutoyi, who's a superstar. If you were watching the first half, she is a superstar. Right now, Angela, you are ranked. What's your ranking? What's your ITF ranking?
155.
155 in the world. And what's the difference between ITF ranking and ATP ranking? There's a difference.
There is a big difference.
There's a big difference.
The ITF ranking is the juniors.
The juniors.
And the ATP now you're going into the seniors.
How do you transition from juniors to seniors?
Or for example, for her at the age of 14, for the ladies it's WTA, for the men it's ATP. So from the age of 14, she's eligible actually to play these tournaments. And then as she picks on the points, then that's how the transition goes. So there is the juniors, then you're transitioning now to the seniors.
So how many tournaments and which tournaments does Angela need to participate in to get there?
So for example, today, she's just said she's 155. And for 155, we are looking at how they are in gradings. So the lowest is 5, 4, 3, and then you go higher. So today, like for example, the next one she's doing grade 3, grade 2, and an A. An A is more of a Grand Slam, and this is big points for her. And then eventually now she actually has some ranking also in the senior event where she's 1,015 in doubles, and then 1145 in singles.
In the world.
In the world, which is
of 8 billion people.
They call it ITF futures. So these are more. So then this is how she now eventually transitions to the last tour, which is the WTA.
And you have had a ranking, I think, of 127 before.
Yes.
So it's. I mean, what do we need to do now? You're doing your job. Your coach is doing his job. You're training. What do we need? What support are you not getting from media, from fans, from government, from corporates that you would like to see? And be honest.
Well, I'd say like lately I've been getting not much support, but like the support I've been getting is quite good from Tennis Kenya and some well wishers. But like I would say like anyone out there willing to come through and help me, I'll gladly appreciate.
Like sponsors should come forward. What do you? She's being polite. You tell it like it is.
No, she probably wouldn't even understand the magnitude of what every person is playing. And to be honest, the government of Kenya has been coming through The National Olympic Committee has been coming through. The Tennis Kenya has been coming through. Family and friends, well-wishers have been coming through. But coming through is not enough. It needs now to be, okay, are we going for it or are we trying?
It needs to be systematic. And what I find we do in this country is Angela becomes a success and then we hang on her coattails to be part of that success. Instead of spurring you to become better, we only celebrate you when you've done well and give you a token. Because when you're saying the government is coming through, I'm hoping they're coming through for a whole system of players, not individual players. I don't know if you understood that. Beyond Angela, there's another Angela and another Angela and another Angela for the next 10 years. And we see a systematic growth in the standard of tennis in this country. Because that's what I would like to see. I'm not sure if that's what you as a coach would like to see. And I'm sure Angela would like to say, you know what, I played tennis in Kenya to this level, but I'm glad I put Kenya on the map and now the next generation takes it to the next level. And stuff like that. But then also the media, and you're allowed to attack the media. Do you get enough interviews? You're allowed to attack us, you know? Because it's getting your name out there for corporates to then know you exist. You're too nice, but you're 17, I excuse you. You need to be more honest.
Yes. And just to give a very brief background, Angela needs at least 30 to 40 weeks a year. And 30 to 40 weeks a year, these are tournaments. And if we break them down, it's probably 3 to 5 weeks every now and then. So that means she'll be going out for a month, competing, and coming back to train for a month or less. And if we break it down each quarter, if in a year we have 4 quarters, in each quarter she'll need to play around 10 weeks. And for every tour that she goes out, we are talking of 500,000. And in total, if I'm to round it off, even without traveling without a coach, we're talking of 5M annually without a coach involved. So if we're talking of just Angela and the family, it's impossible for even someone working in an office in the bank. It's impossible to be able to come up with this kind of amounts of money. But if we have this investment put down, what we've seen out there, she's also seen enough out there to be able to evaluate and see, is it possible, is it not possible? But we've all seen, because we've been also privileged to go out there once in a while, and we've seen what's the level out there. And our level is quite high. And if only she gets the support that now she needs during this transition, because this is the fragile part. For me, I will call it fragile part, where you decide if you can break through or you go to another path.
But so the biggest thing is probably corporate sponsorship for her as an individual, or for the whole national team. Does the national team have any corporate partners currently?
I don't think there is a corporate partner at the moment with the Tennis Federation. And the only support I see probably is one which comes once in a while. I don't think there is a corporate sponsor like Real Insurance did that before, where they would give an amount to even go to the counties and start grassroots. Britam did the same at some point. Kenya Commercial Bank did the same at some point. But at the moment, I don't think there is a corporate today that is entirely attached to the federation and supporting financially.
There should be a corporate for the federation, there should be a corporate for the national team, there should be individual endorsement of players, which happens all over the world. But I keep saying we wait for you to be a success. I interviewed the Ferdinand Omanyala before he went for Olympics, and he was saying, I just need a corporate partner. Now he goes and does it by himself, and on Monday I couldn't even reach him. He had like 5-6 meetings with corporates who now suddenly want to be associated with him. And I'm like, as a country, we should get behind, we should lift you so that your success is not even a surprise. You know, we should know that we've put the support behind you, so we can say, you know what, I had a hand in Angela's success, so I can have a hand when she's celebrating. Instead, we wait for you to do it on your own with your family, and then we come and that, if that happens, you charge them a lot. I told Angella, charge these corporates a lot. Where were you when you were sitting here saying you cannot even afford certain things, you know? So it's unfortunate the way our country works. It's back to front. Internationally, who are your tennis idols?
In the ladies' side, it's Serena Williams, and in the men's side, Rafael Nadal.
It's Nadal?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness, I'm a Federer girl. Now you're letting me down. I think we're all Serena girls, but I'm a FedEx Express. But I respect Nadal and the way he plays on. Are you better on clay or on court? Or on...
hard court.
On a hard court?
Well, according to my game style, I should prefer more hard courts, but I prefer clay.
No wonder you're a Nadal supporter, because he's the king of clay. What is your game style? I mean, I don't know tennis technically, so maybe even I'm asking a not so smart question, but I'm assuming people have game styles. What is yours?
Mine is an aggressive baseliner.
Which means?
Which means I don't back off. I try and attack my opponent.
So if it was football, you'd be like Ronaldo, you're an attacker.
Actually, it's the same.
It's the same, eh?
Same, where the ideal situation is she's the one firing most of the time and not waiting to win the point any other way. So she's the one taking charge the whole time.
Gosh, I need to come and see you play. So are you around? Where do you train? In Nairobi, where do you train? And what is a training day like for you?
When I'm in Nairobi, I train at Nairobi Club. Mm-hmm. And I usually start training from 7 to 10. Well, now, 7 to 10. And in the afternoon from 1:30 to 3:30.
Ish. So that's like 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in the middle you go to school, or that's a program when school's out?
Well, I find time for myself to study in between.
Are you in a structured school system, or you?
Yeah, I do homeschooling.
Oh, you do homeschooling?
Yeah.
So it's on your, and that because we don't have proper sport academies in Kenya, if you want to excel in sports, unfortunately you have to do homeschooling, but that's also a bit costlier.
Yeah.
So do you miss being in a classroom with other?
Yes, I do.
Children?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they get up to no good. You're becoming a superstar. What are your hopes and dreams, my dear, as we wrap?
Well, my dream is to see myself playing at the highest level in tennis, meaning playing at the WTA and actually winning a Grand Slam.
I got goosebumps. It's achievable, coaches. It's achievable.
For me, I believe it is, and this is the time to actually see if it's possible or not.
Over the next couple of months?
Over the next couple of months, and I would say between now and next year, it's very critical that she goes big to see if she can break through.
Just, I know you've mentioned it, I just want, for clarity's sake, what do we need to do to help her to get there over the next couple of months? She needs corporate support.
For the next couple of months and the next year, there is like how you're putting it, the corporate support, where it's a consistent fund, because at the moment, for any tour, it's to go to this office, try your luck. If it is there, it is there, but she's been very lucky that ITF has always come through with the big amounts. But now, when she's out of the center in Casablanca, they also probably will not support the same. So this is where she needs a consistent kitty to be able to get through that.
Because she needs to attend as many tournaments as possible, We're talking
of 30 to 40 weeks a year.
Wow. Well, I'm hoping, and I'll make noise as well, and just hopefully somebody's listening and comes out and says, you know what, I want to get behind Angella, So that when you are playing at a Grand Slam, we can say, you know what, we also did something. We didn't just wait for her success to come back to us and then ride on your coattails, you know. So I do wish you the best. I'll make so much noise about it. Are you old enough to be on social media legally? Or you're there illegally and your parents don't know?
No, they do know.
They do know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're still underage, so we'll discuss that separately, because that's how you unfortunately nowadays corporates all want to know what's your social presence and all that stuff, so that when they're using you to sell their brand, because ultimately you're selling their brand if they come as your partner, they want to know that you have an immediate fan base that's also watching you, that can eventually buy their products, because it's all business, even for corporates. So getting on social media is important, but you're under 18, so I won't push it. I know the tennis themselves as a federation are quite active on social media. So, but I hope somebody's watching, and I'll continue to make noise and see who can come and support this lovely girl who's been such a huge success on her own. Do you have any parting shots before we go?
Oh, I think this is just to all sports. I think all sports in our nation, they just need support generally. And support sometimes, it doesn't always have to be financial. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, like what you're doing, this is support, and every support counts. And we have talents out here, and talents without being nurtured, I think we are not moving.
It's unfortunate because
we're not moving forward.
I think as a country we are killing so many, or stifling so many dreams of talented people, and with this unemployment in this country, half the youth could have been unemployed in their talent.
It's my job today.
Yeah.
It's my job today.
Yeah.
And I'm employed by sport.
Yeah.
And it's one way of a living. So I think we should nurture every little success that we see.
Who do you want to give a shout out to? Your biggest supporter?
I would say my grandmother.
Oh.
Thank you for everything.
Oh, thank you, Grandma. I don't know who Grandma is, but thank you, Grandma. And thank you to everyone in the Federation who helped me get hold of you. Nancy, she's been such an immense help. I wanted you here a couple of months ago, but I understand Kazi first. And it is Kazi, you know. Even though it's talent, it's Kazi first. So I wish you all the best, and thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for watching Radull Live. We will see you again next week.